Prick up your ears.
The sound of DTM.
My car sounds like music to my ears.
My favorite sound when the car is leaving the pits.
My favorite sound, the cheering of the fans. Crank it up. My favorite sound, the silence before the lights go green. Full blast.
Downshifting from full speed. When I rev up my engine to its absolute limit. Too close to cool. Cheering on the podium.
Be aware.
It's gonna be loud.
Hello and welcome to the new season of the DTM 2016. Finally we are back. We are ready to burn some rubber and the sun is shining here at the Hockenheim ring. The grandstands are full, the atmosphere is fantastic and we're looking forward to a really exciting weekend, that's for sure. And here are the highlights. Enjoy!
It's a long-standing tradition, the Hockenheim ring staging the opener of the 2016 DTM season. Besides the popular touring car series, sunshine and summer temperatures mean the fans flock to the circuit. And the 2015 DTM champion is back as an onlooker. Pascal Wehrlein, now a Formula One driver at Manor Racing.
In general, I think it will be very tight again between all the three manufacturers, but it looks like Audi is very strong again this year, so let's see.
Mercedes are aiming for the 2016 title. The two previous DTM champions, Gary PAFFETT and Paul di Resta, are the chief hopefuls. Robert Wickens, though, from Canada, is the third realistic contender. Mercedes have high hopes for him. Former F1 driver Timo Glock is BMW's star. But former champions Bruno SPENGLER and also Martin Tomczyk know how to seal a DTM championship title. Audi, with the most triumphs in 2015 and with several former DTM champions, Timo Scheider was successful in 2008 and 2009, and Edoardo Mortara is the youngest of Audi's likely contenders. He laid down a marker in 2015, winning in Spielberg. Mike Rockenfeller, the 2013 champion, will be competing in his 100th race in Hockenheim. Will he crown his milestone with a triumph? Matthias Ekström is the longest-serving Audi driver. Ekström, of all people, opted for an extra burden in Hockenheim. Besides the two DTM races, he will also be competing in the Rallycross supporting program. Ekström proved to be unbeatable in Rallycross. The thrilling final laps with some daredevil maneuvers and a spectacular rollover without major consequences. Matthias Ekström, the all-rounder, uses all his talent to the full. The Swede prevailed against renowned competitors. After all, DTM drivers are among the best in the world.
You know, I've met a couple of these guys, obviously raced with Ekström, so I'd like to see him do well. And Worked with Mike ROCKENFELLER before, so stoked to see how he does too.
And the starting grid for race 1 saw 6 Audi drivers finishing in the top 10, the best BMW down in P10. It was Muller and Eduardo Mortara sharing the front row. To row 2, and it's Robert Wickens for Mercedes-Benz and Jamie Green for Audi. High hopes potentially for Mike ROCKENFELLER this year, and a good qualifying for Christian Vittoris going from P6. Then we saw Paul di Resta and Miguel Molina. On the next row, it was Matthias Ekstrom, victorious in Rallycross, P9, and Marco Wittmann, former champion, goes from P10. Gary Paffett was P11, and the newcomer to DTM, Esteban OCON, going from P12. Bruno Spengler and Daniel Juncadella on the 7th row of the grid for race 1 at Hockenheim. Augusto Farfus and Timo Glock shared the next row. And it was Tom Blomqvist and Timo Scheider, P17 and P18. Maximilian Gertz and Antonio Felix da Costa on the 10th row of the grid. Then it's Maxime Martin and Martin Tomczyk. And at the back of the pack, Adrien Tambay going from P23. Due to damage sustained in free practice, Lucas Auer not taking part in qualifying, but would start the race from the pit lane. So, ideal conditions on Saturday. The race duration is 40 minutes plus 1 lap. There are no mandatory pit stops or tyre changes. The BMW driver Martin Tomczyk's qualifying result is hardly his best ever. He goes from P22. However, Timo Scheider, hoping to put a torrid 2015 behind him, was looking for a better 2016, and P18 on the grid is not what he would have hoped for. Another former champion in the shape of Bruno Spengler, and he's going from P13 for race 1 in season 2016 in the sunshine at Hockenheim. And the British driver Gary Paffett in the Mercedes. Mercedes, the only manufacturer to come with a new body style for season 2016. Well, Gary Paffett is going from P11. It's P10 for another former champion, Marco Wittmann, the 2014 champion, the best starter for BMW. Which poses a question. BMW having been afforded a weight break for season 2016 and a slightly changed DRS. What's the matter?
It's the first race of the season now. We've done an adjustment so that we are closer to the opposition, but there was a lot of talks. Was that enough or even too much? I think it's pretty obvious that it got us into the mix. We're close enough now, and it's the first time that between qualifying and race you get an adjustment as well. So we'll just have to see now. We have to play our race right, do the strategy right, and then we'll see. 40 long minutes.
Well, Matthias Ekstrom will be hoping to replicate the success he's had in Rallycross this weekend here at Hockenheim. Finished the championship, of course, last year in 3rd place. The Lloret de Mar resident, Miguel Molina, then, who has spent the last 3 years P17 in the championship. Well, he's going from grid position number 8. It was 2010 when Paul di Resta lifted the DTM championship, and Paul di Resta has qualified his Mercedes AMG C63 DTM car in grid position number 7. Christian Vittoris has adopted the same colours on his car as those of Lucas Auer, and Lucas Auer ran with the same colour scheme last year. And let's see what luck that can bring Christian Vittoris, who is going from P6 on the grid for race 1. Mike ROCKENFELLER, the Audi RS5 DTM driver, is going from P5 on the grid for another one of the former champions. Now, Jamie Green came very close to taking the championship title last year, had a brilliant start to the season, not such a good middle part, and then came on strong towards the end. Jamie Green will be hoping that consistency will be the key and that he'll be able to lift the championship trophy come the end of the season. So too will this man, though. Robert Wickens, Mercedes driver, going from P3 on the grid. Good qualifying from the Canadian driver, Robert Wickens. And the car looks absolutely awesome in the sunshine here at Hockenheim. Eduardo Mortara would have loved to have added another pole position to his 2 previous ones. But here at Hockenheim in qualifying for race 1, it wasn't quite to be, though P2 is no bad place to be starting the race. There are high hopes for Audi in 2016. Let's hear from Dieter Gas.
For sure we're in a very good position on the grid, but we need to have a good getaway, and then hopefully we're in a position to bring back a similar result to what we see today on the grid, yes.
And one question concerning Nico Müller. It's his first pole ever. Is he more nervous than usual, or are you pretty confident that he's going to ace the race?
Well, I don't think he's super nervous. He has done that in the past. He has won races in other categories, very high-level categories, so we know he can do it. And I'm really looking forward to see the race.
Nico Müller had a fantastic qualifying session. His first pole position. Absolutely delighted with that. The Swiss ace has clearly benefited from his transfer to Team Abt. The ITR chairman is Hans-Werner Aufrecht, and he's hoping for a thrilling DTM season in 2016.
I've got the DTM boss here, Mr. Aufrecht. Now, the sun is shining. We've got full grandstands, and everything is looking forward to a fantastic season start. Are you a very happy DTM boss?
I'm really happy. I'm feeling really good. The reason is we did a lot of homework this winter, and I think, it works. Yeah, the field is very, very close, and especially for me, it's a young driver in pole position. That's what we want, that the young ones have competition, and it shows like that, and I'm really hopefully for the race.
All right, then so are we, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic race. So thank you very much, and now let's start the race.
Thanks, Verena. Hans-Jürgen Abt to the very left of your picture there in the Audi garage, and in BMW, we can see Jens Marquardt, centre picture right now as we await the race to get underway. Race 1 in the sunshine here at Hockenheim. And Lucas Auer then, as I mentioned earlier, having to start from the pit lane. Uli Fritz then and Pascal Wehrlein to the right of your picture in the Mercedes garage as the lights are out and we are away and racing. So a brilliant start from Robert Wickens, and Nico Müller appeared to bog down, which has played into the hands of Eduardo Mortara. Is Müller going to be able to slot it into P2 as many of the cars run wide? It's Eduardo Mortara that is in the lead for Audi. And then we see Nico Müller in P2. Jamie Green already on a charge. A big lock up there comes from Nico Müller in P2. It's Eduardo Mortara that leads. Then it's Nico Müller. Then it is Jamie Green that has got into P3. And Robert Wickens is P4. Then we see Christian Vittoris. That's Timo Scheider off on the grass. Well, apologies for Timo Scheider's language.
Are you okay, Timo?
You can understand how he feels.
Car is completely damaged. Front body is gone. I come to the pit.
So the 2016 start for Timo Scheider is not the one that he would have wished for.
Well, we went down to turn 2 and it was quite okay after the start. I had a pretty good start, but then I got hit from the behind and I was pushed into Timo Glock. So we went wide altogether. And after turn 2, I came back on track. We've been last anyway at the time. And then he just drove into me. I don't know why he did it. So he just drove me off the track. And that's a situation where the front bonnet was just gone. And a ridiculous situation and a stupid move.
So both Timo and Antonio Felix da Costa coming back out onto the track, and Timo Scheider having his race curtailed. Battle for P4 between Jamie Green and Christian Vittoris, and Marco Wittmann also hoping to close up to them. So there you can see Marco Wittmann on the inside, Jamie Green in the middle, and Christian Vittoris on the outside. But Jamie Green runs really wide there, off into the gravel at the Motordrome, but he is able to get back, but he's lost a whole bunch of places. So he goes from tarmac to gravel to grass and back out on tarmac once again. Now Christian Vittoris looks to be the closer car there, but actually I think Christian Vittoris was the innocent party in that. Let's have a look from a different angle. Yes, the initial hit comes from Marco Wittmann, who then clatters into Christian Vittoris, and he too a big loser like Jamie Green. Okay, so DRS is active now. It's 2 Audis out front, Mortara in the lead, followed by Muller and Wickens. Tom Blomqvist with a spin at the back of the field. Adrien TAMBAY can only just avoid him. So let's see in replay how that all happened. Where's Daniel Juncadella on Blomqvist? And then Blomqvist going backwards, and Adrien TAMBAY doing his level best to avoid, but gets caught up in that and is caught by the back of the Tom Blomqvist car there, the moment of impact. So plenty of different camera angles to bring you replays of that incident, and here's another one. TAMBAY doing his level best to avoid, but was just caught out. Well, there's a fierce fight going on over 6th place at the moment. There's Mike Rockenfeller battling with Christian Vittoris. Just look at Gary PAFFETT on an absolute charge here through the Parabolica as they head up towards the hairpin. And they go 4 cars abreast. Absolutely incredible racing. There's Mike Rockenfeller. There is Christian Vittoris. Also in there is Matthias Ekstrom, Bruno Spengler, Gary PAFFETT and Molina. For good measure as well. Brilliant tracking shot that we can show you. Mike Rockenfeller and also Christian Vittoris. Whoa, big lockups. Gary PAFFETT right behind Matthias Ekstrom now. And Mike Rockenfeller is all over the back of Marco Wittmann, but cannot seem to find a way past. The splitter cam brings us brilliant action, but what that does is a little nerf that plays into the hands of Bruno Spengler as well. So Mike Rockenfeller, Bruno Spengler and Marco Wittmann all fighting, so too Gary PAFFETT and Matthias Ekstrom. This is all going on for P6. Mike Rockenfeller hard at work. In the meantime, this is Timo Glock, Jamie Green as they're heading up towards the hairpin now around the Parabolica. Brilliant heli shot that we can bring you. Glock on the inside, Augusto Farfus going around the outside, Jamie Green going an even wider line around the outside, but gets a slingshot off the runoff area. We stay with this heli shot and this battle between Timo Glock and Augusto Farfus at the moment. This is all going on for P16. And Timo Glock very nearly into the back of Jamie Green, but Augusto Farfus surely will have done enough now. Yes, he has, and Timo Glock slips back. Well, that was a move that was set up a number of corners ago. So Jamie Green is really fighting back, running in P16 at the moment, and Glock is off. And so too Daniel Juncadella. Both of those cars end up in the gravel. Just looked like Juncadella got out of shape a bit and clattered into the side of Timo Glock. What a shame.
I lost the car next to Timo, and unfortunately I crashed with him. So the race was over, but I mean, there's not much we could both do from that position on the race. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but still I think my race was already over before.
Well, let's see it in replay. Timo Glock really did pirouette through the gravel, closely followed by the Mercedes driver Daniel Juncadella. Let's hear from Timo Glock now.
It was just quite quickly turn 12 into the stadium. Daniel Juncadella just lost the car and yeah, just slided into me, and I was out of the race. But the trouble was already in turn 2 after the start that Timo Scheider and Antonio Felix Acosta had a bit of a touch, and then Timo Scheider, yeah, lost the car, drove a bit into me, sent me wide, and I was already on the back of the field.
Well, it was also a retirement for newcomer Esteban Ocon, his Mercedes being pushed back into the garage, and here's why. On board with Esteban Ocon, into the side of Augusto Farfus. Farfus goes spinning around, and the damage to Ocon sufficient to retire the car. Also retiring is Mike Rockenfeller from the Phoenix team, and Ernst Moser not looking very happy about that, but Rocky's race over much sooner than he would have liked. Damage to the right rear suspension, as you can see. We could suss that really from the way the car was crabbing down the pit lane, and that car put back into the garage. So there's Rocky trying to limp the car home. And was it that contact with Bruno Spengler that caused the damage? Well, Well, from there on in, Mike certainly had a very ill-handling car. And all he could do was nurse the car back to the pit lane then. Let's hear from Mike Rockenfeller.
There was slow zone 4 because somebody went off, which they told me on the radio. I knew it. And then Bruno decelerated quite a lot before corner 8, the Mercedes, let's say, before that grandstand. Well, and then I wanted to go by next to him, and then I think he realized he was too slow, and then he just turned in on me. We touched. Actually, not a huge hit, but it was enough to break my suspension. Very, very bad because we were good in the points. Yeah, quite sad, but anyway, what can I do? You know, I would do the same thing again.
In slow motion here, Antonio Felix da Costa and Jamie Green coming together as Antonio Felix da Costa turns in. That space is full of the Jamie Green orange Audi. So off wide but back out onto the track again for the number 13 car. In the meantime, this is the battle for P2 between Nico Muller and Robert Wickens with the DRS assistance. Robert Wickens then ahead of Nico Muller. Jussi Edo Mortara going into the hairpin now, and Robert Wickens is P2. Nico Muller P3. Brilliant on board with Augusto Farfus. It's Jamie Green and Maximilian Goertz ahead. On the back end of the Maximilian Goertz car steps out and he ends up in the gravel. Yet another one gone. So Maximilian Goertz then in the number 84 car is beached and in the gravel and will not be returning from there. So on board with Maximilian Goertz then, and see it from a different angle here. Goertz turns in, Jamie Green on the outside. It just looked like the back end of the Goertz car got away. Whether there was a slight touch between himself and the Audi driver Jamie Green, couldn't tell from that angle, but let's see it from Maximilian Goertz. Is on board now, fighting with it. Car was on the curb, and the car ended up in the gravel. And a disappointment in the garage. So the race order then, it's Eduardo Mortara leading, it's this man Robert Wickens P2, then it is Nico Muller. Paul di Resta is P4, a long way back with Christian Vitouris P5, Bruno Spengler is P6, and the best position for BMW. It's a drive-through penalty for Jamie Green for causing a collision, I think, with Antonio Felix da Costa. Looks like someone else is going to get a penalty as well, as we see a Deutsche Post runner running down the pit lane. In the meantime, in slow-mo, Christian Vitouris overtaking Paul di Resta at the hairpin. Through on the inside goes Christian Vitouris, and there's a real battle going on here between Martin Tomczyk, Matthias Ekstrom. Martin Tomczyk obviously with a problem with the car, and Gary Paffett is able to take great advantage getting past both of them.
Okay, copy. What happened? What happened?
Well, whether we get the answer from team radio or not remains to be seen. This is Matthias Ekstrom, who we are on board with right now, and glancing in the mirror because hounding him is Antonio Felix da Costa. So Matthias Ekstrom, who is running in P8 with real charge from Antonio Felix da Costa, and Gary Paffett not far behind either in P9. So Matthias Ekstrom defending for all he's worth, trying to make the Audi as wide as possible. And here, big contact with Matthias Ekstrom. Eki taken to a little bit of the grass on the inside of the hairpin, and then huge lumps of the Gary Paffett car go missing in that contact. Let's see it from on board with Matthias. Cuts to the inside now. And there you can see various bits flailing off the Gary Paffett Mercedes. And from another angle, there you can see over the curbs, and there is the contact and various bits coming off the Gary Paffett car. Well, that of course has caused Paffett to drop back, so now the battle intensifies between Antonio Felix da Costa and Matthias Ekstrom. Here they are again at the hairpin. Less curb taken by Matthias Ekstrom on that occasion, and Gary Paffett has got the better of him now. With DRS being used, you could see the rear wing go down, and Paffett using that to advantage and managing to get past Matthias Ekstrom. And we're on board with Ekstrom now as he fights back. What a brilliant battle this is between all of them. And the one that is really able to take advantage is Maxime MARTIN, who you can see disappearing now from the onboard shot of the Matthias Ekstrom car. So Gary taking a hit from Lucas Auer.
Gary, we saw it. Okay.
So extraordinary. Look at that car looking so second-hand now as he continues to try and fight with what bits he has left on that Mercedes. So where was the hit from Lucas Auer then? Lucas Auer in the pink car there. Gary doing very well to control that, just tip the back end out. See it at the car getting really quite sideways, so good control from Gary PAFFETT to hold on to that. He was sent into that by Lucas Auer. The car looks very, very second-hand now, doesn't it? Resplendent on the grid right at the start of the race. Different look to it now. Up front though, Eduardo Mortara, Robert Wickens, P1, P2. Then it is Nico Müller, who is P3. Then it's Christian Vittoris, Paul di Resta and Bruno Spengler. Here indeed is the Bruno Spengler BMW Bank liveried car. And there is an intense battle going on, would you believe, for P14 between this man, Augusto Farfus, and Jamie Green in the DRS deployed orange Audi to the outside of the hairpin. Augusto Farfus on the inside is able to deny Jamie Green for the moment, but Augusto Farfus spending as much time looking in the mirror as he is looking through the windscreen at the moment as the fight between these two for the pride of P14 continues around the Hockenheim circuit. Jamie Green to the outside now. Augusto Farfus with a little bit of a lock-up and also sending Jamie Green a bit wide. So that denied him any opportunity of trying the long way around the outside. Lucas Auer sadly has to retire. His damaged car will be pushed back into the garage and no further racing for Lucas Auer, who started the race and ended the race then in the pit lane. But no mistaking the victory for the Audi driver Eduardo Mortara, who heads to the checkered flag to take P1.
E il signor Mortara offre la colazione a tutti.
Some lovely Italian congratulations offered to Eduardo Mortara, Robert Wickens P2, Nico Müller P3. Well, it was a hard race and it will mean plenty of work for some of those engineers tonight.
I think if we look back to the first race of the last season, it was quite the same thing. It shouldn't happen because it's incredibly much work for the mechanics tonight, and but that's all about the racing. Maybe a few guys were a bit over motivated, but I think at least we showed good performance. Got 3 cars in the top 5, so happy with that, and that's also a good thing for working that hard over the last months.
Thanks, Uli Fritz. So there is page 1 of the results, and page 2 will follow. Eduardo Mortara, the winner. But taking a convincing second place and showing good pace is Robert Wickens.
Everyone always wants a good start to the season. I mean, we waited 7 months for this, so to be on the podium, to be P2, it's fantastic. I can't thank my team enough. We worked so hard over the winter to try and improve for my season last year. I mean, there's no hiding it. I didn't have a good year last year. I haven't seen you in a long time, so really happy with how everything went. I can't thank the guys enough at Mercedes, and hopefully we can do one better tomorrow.
Okay, so the podium ceremony then, and first congratulations go to Eduardo Mortara, who takes victory in race 1. Of course, it is the shorter race of the 2 races per weekend. Hans-Jürgen Abt receives the trophy on behalf of the team and then credits the rest of the team, and Eduardo Mortara is the race winner.
It was a great race. I was lucky at the start to get a good start and get in front of Nico. And then I was trying to manage the tires because I knew that the temperatures were really, really hot, and in these conditions, you know, it's so much more difficult, you know, for the tires and brakes. And so if you're not really careful with that, you can end up like really with some problems. So everything worked out very well. I was very, very sick the entire weekend. It was very difficult in the car, so I was like really, really, really tired the last 5 laps, but in the end, all good.
Oh, and well, congratulations to that. And Nico, it's your first time up on the podium. You started off first time in pole and now first time on the podium in your 3rd season. You've got to be really raving and happy.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first emotions are very positive, but there's always the wish, when you start from pole to win the race as well. That's the goal, but I mean, it has been a very positive weekend so far. I mean, getting pole was very good, and now to be up on the podium is positive. I have to work on my start, and also on the first 2 laps I struggled a bit for grip, but I mean, in the end we can be happy, I think, and I'm looking forward to go for it again tomorrow.
Good to hear from Nico Müller as well. Eduardo Mortara then top in the championship chart with Robert Wickens, Nico Müller, P2, P3 of course. Well, an impressive display by Audi on opening day, and Mercedes, who have said that they've had to work very, very hard all winter long, must also be very pleased with their strong performance, with 3 cars in the top 5 as the podium celebrations continue, and we look forward to race number 2. Well, what a difference a day makes. The best Audi is P11, 6 BMWs and 4 Mercedes in the top 10. It's Paul di Resta pole position, Augusto Farfus alongside. Then we see Gary Paffett from P3, and he's going to be dangerous from there, surely, and Maxime Martin P4. Robert Wickens P5, Timo Glock goes from P6 on the grid. Esteban Ocon will be hoping to finish today's race from P7, and Tom Blomqvist goes from P8. Marco Wittmann and Antonio Felix da Costa are on the 5th row of the grid. Then we see Jamie Green and yesterday's race winner, Eduardo Mortara. It's Bruno Spengler and Martin Tomczyk on the 7th row. Nico Müller and at least Lucas Auer at P16 makes it onto the grid and won't have to start from the pit lane as yesterday. Maximilian Gertz goes from P17 and Mike Rockenfeller a lowly P18. The 10th row of the grid sees Adrien Tambay and Matthias Ekstrom. Then it's Christian Vittoris and Timo Scheider. And rounding out the grid is Miguel Molina and Daniel Juncadella. Well, once again, the sun shines at Hockenheim for race day 2 and the longer race of the 2 of any given DTM weekend. Thousands and thousands of race fans here to enjoy the action and the entertainment. A visit from the horizontal bar world champion, Fabian Hambuchen. Now, before the race, he is given a unique opportunity to go for a ride in the BMW DTM race taxi. Thumbs up, and let's go for a high-speed jaunt around the 4.5-kilometre circuit at Hockenheim. Well, no horsepower being spared, as you can see as they go into the hairpin here, and the BMW lookalike of Timo Glock's car looking almost as quick as Paul di Resta's did in qualifying today.
The aim is to stay in front, hopefully. We've had a good weekend, some issues yesterday, but the boys did a really late night shift last night, and they've got the car back to where it was, and the car for this generation looked great. It's performing good, and we need to try and maximise where we are.
Well, not able to maximise the success in Rallycross and DTM across this weekend, seemingly Matthias Ekstrom with a very disappointing qualifying. It's P20 for the fantastic all-round motorsports star. It's P18 for Mike Rockenfeller, who's also a long way back, and can you believe it? Eduardo Mortara, who was the winner of race 1, is only on P12.
Obviously, there is always a chance, even if the chance, to be honest with you, today is smaller than yesterday for sure. But we never give up, I never give up, and Audi is never giving up. So obviously, starting from P12 is it's a difficult task, yes. But we know that we have a very, very good race car. We are also slightly lighter because of the performance weight. The others are a little bit heavier. So this should play in our favor. Tires also situation should also play in our favor. So let's see.
Team Schnitzer BMW driver Antonio Felix da Costa. Well, he was involved in lots and lots of battles yesterday, and let's see how he does in race 2 today. Being given a hug by team principal Charlie Lamb. Marco Wittmann then, 2014 champion, wearing the Red Bull livery for his campaign during 2016. And Tom Blomqvist, who incidentally has the Ice Watch livery from last year's Marco Wittmann car. Tom Blomqvist going from P8, Marco Wittmann from P9, and Esteban Ocon, the rookie, started race 1 from P12. And it's a surprisingly good showing for Esteban Ocon then, who will be going from P7 in the number 34 car. Timo Glock then finished his race early. He's had a good qualifying though, and Timo Glock goes from P6 on the grid. Robert Wickens, with a fine result yesterday that saw him on the podium, will be hoping to perhaps achieve the same today, and it's certainly very possible from P5. This is the BMW driver Maxime Martin. He is 1:34.285, sufficient to give him P4 on the grid. Bear in mind, qualifying for each race takes place on the same day as the race. It was only just over an hour ago the cars were out there qualifying. Gary Paffett was involved in all sorts of battles yesterday, and so too his engineers from ART, who worked hard to put that car back into shape for the race today. A good qualifying from Gary Paffett to go from P3. Augusto Farfus, though, is going from P2 in the Shell BMW M4 DTM. But of course, in his second stint in the DTM, Paul di Resta must be hoping and aiming for the race win. He's done all the hard work in qualifying and put that car on P1. Yes, it's pole position for Paul di Resta for race 2, DTM 2016. In the Mercedes garage then, board members Dr. Thomas Weber and Olli Kalenius, Jens Marquardt for BMW, and the Audi chairman Rupert Stadler joining the pit garage as lights go out and we get race 2 underway here at Hockenheim. DTM 2016, a brilliant start from Paul di Resta. Augusto Farfus really bogging down, and Maxime Martin right in the middle of that mix between Augusto Farfus and Gary Paffett. Timo Glock is also in there as well as the cars roar through turn 1 and head towards turn 2. Paul di Resta, with a lightning start, and already has opened up a length of maybe 6 or 7 cars over Maxime Martin, who is P2, and Gary Paffett is P3, and Jamie Green is once again in the gravel. Bruno Spengler and Esteban Ocon joining him, and so too the safety car is being brought out. Let's see if we can see this. Okay, so Jamie Green just being caught by the Esteban Ocon car, and Esteban Ocon's car and Bruno Spengler's car seemingly locked together, one forwards, one reverse into the gravel. So Ocon gets a hit. Ocon can do nothing but collide into Bruno Spengler, and Jamie Green gets caught out as well.
No luck. I mean, I was very careful today because I didn't already finish the race yesterday. So I took zero risk, lost a place in corner 1, that was fine. Then I was side by side with Bruno. It was going to be fine, the corner as well. We were going to take it with no problem, and Antonio arrived and smashed us both. So yeah, that was the end of the race.
Well, that's a shame for Esteban Ocon's start in his DTM career. You can see quite clearly how Antonio Felix da Costa was straight into the side of the Esteban Ocon car. And Esteban really could do little else but steer into Bruno Spengler, and Jamie Green was the real one called out in that battle, and you can see that Bruno straight away very, very cross with Esteban Ocon, but when he saw the footage, to be fair to him, he realised it wasn't Esteban's fault.
I was just turning into turn 2 and I felt a massive hit from behind, and I just spun, and Esteban Ocon's car was stuck in my car, so I thought it was him, that's why I was a little bit pissed off, but I have to say sorry to him, apologize, because he couldn't do anything about it. So it's not his fault, and it's just a bit bad luck. I think he was pushed from behind, and then he couldn't stop the car and just crashed into me. So yeah, I don't know who was the starter of this, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's just an unlucky situation. Now I just hope that BMW will score some good points in the race today, and I concentrate myself for Spielberg.
Well, from the Maximilian Gertz on board, you can see how Jamie Green was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I've been racing a long time. There's ups and downs. This weekend was down mainly, especially in the races. I was unlucky to be taken out in both races.
Well, after the track is cleared of debris, the restart, and it's Paul di Resta that leads, followed by Maxime Martin and Gary Paffett. Then it's Augusto Farfus, Timo Glock, Robert Wickens and Tom Blomqvist. And the battle for second place was going to intensify between Gary Paffett and Maxime Martin, with Augusto Farfus just behind them, of course, in P4. So up towards the hairpin then. Maxime Martin inside, Gary Paffett outside. Gary Paffett trying to come back at Maxime Martin now, not able to do so. Augusto Farfus is just waiting in the wings if these two should trade blows as to whether he can pick up the advantage. Paffett now through on the inside. That was a brilliant move. Maxime Martin just a little touch on the back of the Gary Paffett car. See it again in replay. Slides that up absolutely perfectly. Through on the inside. Just able to control the additional speed, and it was just this little tap that came from Maxime Martin just on the exit there. And delight in the Mercedes garage at that overtake from Gary Paffett. A little bit more physical was this little battle between Adrien Tambay and Antonio Felix da Costa, once again in the wars, and Maximilian Gertz, who we are on board with right now, gives a little helping hand to Matthias Ekstrom ahead. That whole battle going on for P13, which Mike Rockenfeller stands a chance of winning now, as he, with a very, very brave move all the way around the outside. That was great driving from Mike Rockenfeller. Out on the grass, though, is Miguel Molina, who is able to get it back onto the tarmac again. Eduardo Mortara just ahead of him. And in the meantime, this is Augusto Farfus on Maxime Martin, which is for P3. Well, Antonio Felix da Costa's car is going to be retired in the pits. That's not a regular pit stop, that is a race retirement for Antonio Felix da Costa. However, the pit stops are about to start, and Maxime Martin and Timo Glock are in. This is what the teams rehearse for all winter long. Sub 3 second pit stop times, if at all possible. Martin is able to get out ahead of Timo Glock, which is the way they came in. We can see Martin Tomczyk, and also Mike Rockenfeller is just coming in. Here comes Gary Paffett right now. So he will be looking for a supreme time from the ART team to get him back out again as quickly as possible. Paffett is P3. Now Robert Wickens also coming into the pit lane as well. There is Wickens. Oh, and Paffett and Wickens very, very close together, but Wickens is out ahead of Tom Blomqvist, which is exactly what he wanted to do. Paffett rejoins then, so do Robert Wickens and Tom Blomqvist. So Miguel Molina does go past Gary Paffett, but of course Miguel Molina has not been in for his mandatory pit stop yet. Eduardo Mortara then with problems with the door. Now, interestingly, it doesn't look like there's any damage to the side of the car. It just looks like the door has become dislodged at the top. So Eduardo Mortara then, and that's not going to help the car at all. Here we can see it in replay from a different angle. Really curious, that one. Okay, in comes Paul di Resta. We'll throw that graphic on the right-hand side of your screen of the track map so you can see exactly where Gary Paffett is relative to Paul di Resta. Also, Augusto Farfus in. And a problem with the stop for Paul di Resta. He is going now, but there was a problem with the front wheel. But he's out ahead of Gary Paffett, just. Being warned by team radio that Gary is on his way. Of course, Molina is in the middle of this. Molina hasn't yet done a pit stop, and Gary trying to get past Molina as much as he possibly can so that he can take the chase to Paul di Resta, which will be for the race lead. But he's being hampered by the Audi ahead of him. He uses DRS now to get on the inside of what will be the hairpin here, in the hope that he can get the Audi out of his way. Paul di Resta there leads the race. Here comes Gary Paffett then. As I say, bear in mind that Miguel Molina has yet to pit. Miguel Molina has yet to pit. So Paffett then takes the chase to Paul di Resta, and it's a retirement for Matthias Ekstrom in the Audi RS5 DTM. Racing here with Maximilian Gertz. There was a touch, and is that what's done for the Audi? Well, let's find out by talking to Matthias Ekstrom now.
I was fighting as hard as I could, tried to stay out of trouble, but then I had one contact, and then the car broke, and then I lost 2 to 3 seconds a lap, and I had no chance anymore.
Well, we thought it was close between Robert Wickens and Gary Paffett when they came in for their pit stops. You may recall Paffett was first, and then out just as Robert Wickens came in. Now, race control have decided that that was an unsafe release by the ART team. There was a touch, I think, or by its slight. And Gary Paffett, the driver, of course, has to take that drive-through penalty. So that's changed the face of the race for Gary Paffett. In the meantime, lots of other battles going on, and this is Timo Glock and Maxime Martin. This is for P4, and Timo Glock ahead of Maxime Martin now. Through the hairpin, Martin tries to fight back, but Timo Glock using his DRS there, as you can see, the rear wing is deployed, and is able to escape with some haste away from the Maxime Martin car. This is it in replay. Up towards the very, very tight hairpin. Timo Glock using that DRS and managing to get past his brand mate, Maxime Martin, in the BMW. It's another retirement for Timo Scheider. A torrid opening weekend that Timo Scheider has had. And it's not been a good one for Miguel Molina either, as his car, the last to pit, you will recall, spins on the pit lane in, clatters up against the wall, and that, as they say, is that with regards to his race, because he's out of the car, and that will take no further part in DTM Race 2. Can just imagine the conversations that are going on the pit wall, trying to fathom that one out. Daniel Juncadella is in the gravel. That's in the Motordrome, so Daniel Juncadella out of the race. Slow zone, I suspect, will be deployed, which means that the cars have to reduce their speed. Yes, indeed, slow zone is being deployed. Cars will have to reduce their speed to 80 kilometers per hour. The order, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, is very Mercedes and BMW dominated, with the best Audi to show P9 with Nico Müller. So, SZ slow zone lights through zone 3. And we're on board with Augusto Farfus now, whose keen eyes on the rearview mirrors, because Timo Glock is coming from P3 and wants to wrestle away that P2 position again with the DRS assistance. There's Timo Glock up the insides. They go to the hairpin. Augusto Farfus, brilliant onboard shot that we have with Augusto Farfus. All he can do is watch the disappearing yellow back end of Timo Glock up the road.
Okay, mate, if you can, maintain the gap, and let's get the DRS next lap.
Which is exactly right, because now Timo Glock will not have the benefit of DRS, and Augusto Farfus, if he can stay within 1 second of Timo Glock, will have the benefit of DRS. So he will be able to reverse the maneuver, if you like. He has got to stay within 1 second of Timo Glock. And Gary Paffett, what a fight back from him following his drive-through penalty on the inside around the banked section there of Robert Wickens. So Paffett up to P5 following that drive-through penalty. Also a drive-through penalty for car number 8 for Christian Vittoris.
So you should get the DRS to Timo or check the gap.
So the Augusto team helping him with regards to his DRS availability as he chases Timo Glock now.
Can you wait for me for DRS?
You're doing well. Augusto is close to drop out of the DRS window. He's very close, doing well, push.
So lots of team radio traffic going on as this battle ensues right to the end of the race then between Timo Glock and Augusto Farfus. And this is a replay of the Gary Paffett move on Robert Wickens. Just wonder if Robert got a bit out of shape on the exit of the last turn and going into this turn, which maybe just assisted Gary a little bit as he went for that overtake and made it stick. Well, Paul di Resta, it has been a masterclass. He has not put one wheel wrong as he heads for the checkered flag and to take the win in the opening weekend of DTM. Paul di Resta wins.
Well done, Paul. So from now on, your son has to come to all the races. Well done. Thank you so much.
Yes, Paul's son is here at Hockenheim. Congratulations to Paul and his wife on the birth of their son. Good luck mascot, clearly, for Paul di Resta. Jens Marquardt is from BMW.
That was definitely much better than yesterday, and also after the adjustment from qualifying, I think that was a good race today. Fantastic job by Paul di Resta. He went off and that was it. And behind there was not as much trouble as yesterday in the first few laps, so I think that was okay. And of all the 6 cars running from BMW, all 6 are in the points. That is, I think, a good result.
Well, Timo Glock's joy regarding P2 would not last for very long because post-race scrutineering of his BMW revealed a violation of technical regulations. The position of his boot lid didn't comply with the specifications. That meant disqualification, which also meant that Augusto Farfus would move up to P2.
We were hanging on the P2 for a long moment, but then I had the rear drop, the tires they gave up, and then I started losing pace. Timo had a fantastic pace start to the end. So I'm happy. Good to get these points on the bag. After a difficult race yesterday, we go home now with a third place. We can focus now on the next one.
Well, it was Paul di Resta's 72nd race in the DTM and his 7th victory. And he holds the trophy aloft and salutes the team that worked so very hard to put that car on pace to win the race. And Paul di Resta, victorious and happy.
It's been a long time, but you know, we've had a very strong car all weekend. The boys last night were up till 5:30 repairing the car from a technical issue. I owe it to them. You know, they gave me a car to get out there, but I think I need to dedicate this one to my son. The first one he's come to. It's been a great winter, fully focused. Some people said you'd be slower, but maybe it's the difference.
So the Drivers' Championship as we go to the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the next round of DTM in a couple of weeks' time. Paul di Resta tops on 37 points with Robert Wickens. P2 on 28. Then it's Eduardo Mortara and Nico Müller.
So here are the highlights of this race, and see you next time. Bye-bye.